I was 3 months into my deployment in Afghanistan when the email came. It was Tuesday morning, barely dawn at Camp Leatherneck. I just finished a 12-hour patrol shift and was checking messages before crashing. Most emails were from family. My mom asking how I was doing. My sister sending photos of her new baby. Then I saw one from Natalie, my wife. The subject line read, "We need to talk, important." My stomach dropped. In 5 years of marriage, Natalie had never sent an email with a subject line like that. I clicked it open, expecting bad news about her health or maybe her parents. What I got was worse. Much worse. "Tyler, I can't do this anymore. I've tried to make this work, but I'm done waiting. I filed for divorce yesterday. The papers will be served to your command. I've also withdrawn all the money from our joint account because I needed to start over. I know this seems harsh, but you've been gone more than you've been home. I deserve someone who's actually here. Don't try to contact me. My lawyer will handle everything. Natalie." I read it 3 times, each time hoping the words would change. They didn't. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. I sat there in my bunk staring at the screen until my buddy Jackson walked by. "Yo, Hayes, you good?" he asked. I couldn't answer. Couldn't speak. He looked at my face and immediately knew something was wrong. "What happened?" I showed him the email. Jackson read it, his expression darkening with each line. "Man, I'm sorry. That's cold. She emptied our account." I whispered, "Everything." She said, "All of it." Jackson sat down next to me. "How much was in there?" "About 47,000. My deployment bonuses. Hazard pay. Everything I've saved for 3 years. The money was supposed to buy us a house when I got home. Start a family. Build a life. Now it was just gone. Can she do that?" Jackson asked. "It's a joint account." "Technically, yeah." I felt sick. Not just about the money. About everything. Natalie and I had met 6 years ago at a friend's wedding. She was a nurse. Beautiful, smart, funny. We got married after dating for 8 months. Too fast, probably. But I was about to deploy, and we didn't want to wait. The first deployment was hard on her. I knew that. 12 months apart. Limited communication. The stress of not knowing if I was safe. But we made it through. When I came home, things were good again. Great. Even. Then I got orders for another deployment. Natalie cried. Said she couldn't do it again. But I didn't have a choice. The military doesn't care about your marriage problems. I promised her this would be my last deployment, that I'd leave the military after this tour. We'd settle down, start our family. She nodded and said she understood, said she'd wait. I guess she lied. I tried calling her. The number was disconnected. Texted her. Messages turned green. Not delivered. She blocked me. My wife of 5 years had divorced me by email and blocked me while I was in a war zone. I reported to my commanding officer, Captain Morrison. He already knew. "Hayes, I received the divorce papers this morning," he said when I entered his office. "I'm sorry. This is a tough situation." "Sir, she emptied our bank account. Is there anything I can do?" He looked uncomfortable. "That's a civilian legal matter. You'll need to contact a lawyer stateside. But honestly, if it was a joint account, she had legal access to the funds. Even while I'm deployed, isn't there some kind of protection?" The Service Member Civil Relief Act protects you from certain legal actions during deployment, but it doesn't prevent a spouse from accessing joint accounts. "I'm sorry, Hayes. I felt hollow. Empty. Can I at least get emergency leave to deal with this?" Captain Morrison shook his head. "We're short-staffed right now. Unless it's a family death or emergency, I can't approve it. A divorce, even a difficult one, doesn't qualify." So I was stuck in Afghanistan for 3 more months, unable to do anything while my life fell apart back home. That night, I lay in my bunk unable to sleep. My mind raced through memories, trying to figure out when things went wrong. Natalie had seemed fine on our last video call 2 weeks ago. Happy even. She'd talked about redecorating the apartment, planning a vacation for when I got home. How do you go from planning vacations to filing for divorce in 2 weeks? Unless she'd been planning it longer. Unless everything had been a lie. I thought about the money. $47,000. 3 years of saving. Living in terrible conditions. Risking my life. All for a future that no longer existed. Jackson came by around midnight. Hey man, can't sleep either? No. He sat on the edge of my bunk. Look, I know this sucks, but you're gonna get through this. We've survived worse than a bad marriage. Have we? I asked. At least when we're getting shot at, we can shoot back. This? I can't do anything. I'm completely powerless. You're not powerless. You just can't act yet. But when you get home, you'll handle it. How? She took everything. The money. The apartment was in her name. I don't even know where I'll live when I get back. Jackson was quiet for a moment. Do you have family? Friends. My parents are in Ohio. I haven't been home in 4 years. My sister just had a baby. They don't have room for me. What about savings? Other accounts? I sat up. Wait, my VA account. She doesn't have access to that. I pulled out my laptop and logged into my Veterans Affairs account, the one where my GI Bill money was deposited, money for education benefits. It was separate from our joint account. Natalie had never had access to it. The balance showed $12,000. Not a lot, but enough to survive, enough to start over. Thank God. I breathed. She didn't get everything. Jackson grinned. See? Not completely powerless. I started making plans. I need a lawyer when I got back. A good one. I'd need to find out where Natalie was living, whether she'd moved on with someone else. Because people don't just wake up one day and decide to divorce their deployed spouse. There had to be more to this story. I emailed my sister, Casey, told her what happened, asked if she'd heard anything from Natalie. Casey responded the next morning. Tyler, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Natalie unfriended me on social media 2 months ago. I thought it was weird, but figured you guys were having problems you didn't want to talk about. I'll see what I can find out. Over the next few days, Casey became my detective. She called Natalie's friends, checked social media, asked around. What she discovered made everything worse. Natalie had been posting photos on Instagram. Her account was private now, but Casey got screenshots from a mutual friend. Photos of Natalie with a man. Not just any man. My former best friend, Kyle. They were everywhere together. Restaurants, concerts, the beach. Photos dated back 4 months. She'd been cheating on me for 4 months. While I was deployed, while I was risking my life. Kyle had been my best friend since high school. He was the best man at our wedding. The godfather to the child Natalie, and I had planned to have someday. He'd helped us move into our apartment. Been there for Natalie when I deployed. I'd asked him to check on her, make sure she was okay. And he'd done that, apparently. Just not the way I'd intended. I stared at the photos Casey sent. Natalie and Kyle at a restaurant I'd taken her to on our anniversary. Kyle's arm around her at a concert. Them kissing on a beach at sunset. Each photo was a knife to the chest. Did you know about this? I asked Jackson, showing him the photos. About Kyle? No, man. I swear, if I'd known, I would have told you. I believed him. Jackson wasn't the type to keep secrets like that. I forwarded everything to Casey. I need you to do something for me. Find me the best divorce lawyer you can. Someone ruthless. Someone who wins. Tyler, are you sure? This is going to get expensive. I don't care. She took my money, destroyed my trust, cheated on me with my best friend while I'm deployed. I'm not letting her walk away clean. Casey promised to find someone. 2 days later, she called. I found a lawyer. Her name is Amanda Pierce. She specializes in military divorces, has a reputation for destroying unfaithful spouses, but she's expensive, wants a $10,000 retainer. Book her. I'll transfer the money from my VA account. Tyler, that's your education money. I'll worry about college later. Right now, I need justice. Amanda Pierce was everything Casey promised. Sharp, aggressive, and ruthless. We had our first call through a secure military line. Mr. Hayes, I've reviewed your case. Your wife filing while you're deployed is legal, but the timing and manner are questionable. The fact that she emptied your joint account is legal, but ethically gray. However, the affair changes everything. How? Adultery is still considered in divorce proceedings, especially in military cases. It can affect asset division, alimony, and other financial considerations. But I need evidence. Photos aren't enough. I need concrete proof. What kind of proof? Bank statements showing she spent your money on her affair. Witnesses who can testify. Communication records. Anything that proves she was unfaithful and used marital assets to support that affair. I thought about it. Can you subpoena her bank records? I can try, but it'll be easier if we can get information voluntarily. Do you have access to any of her accounts? No. She changed all the passwords. What about credit cards? Did you have any joint cards? 1. A Visa we opened 3 years ago. Perfect. Get me the account information. I'll request records for the past 6 months. Let's see what she's been spending your money on. I sent Amanda everything I had. Account numbers. Passwords I'd saved. Email logins. Everything. One more thing. Amanda said, stay calm. Don't contact your wife. Don't threaten her. Don't do anything that could be used against you in court. Let me handle everything. What if I want to contact Kyle? Absolutely not. Any communication with either of them could hurt your case. I know it's hard, but trust me, the next few weeks were torture. Every day I woke up thinking about Natalie and Kyle, wondering what they were doing, whether they were living together, whether she was spending my money on him. I threw myself into work, longer patrols, extra shifts, anything to keep busy, to stop thinking. Jackson kept an eye on me, made sure I ate, made sure I slept. You're going to drive yourself crazy, he said one night. I'm already crazy. Might as well be productive about it. Amanda called with updates every few days. She'd subpoenaed the credit card records. The results were damning. Thousands of dollars spent at expensive restaurants, hotels, a jewelry store, all while I was deployed, all on my money. She bought him a watch, Amanda said, $1,500, from a high-end store. The receipt has both their names on it. She bought my former best friend a watch with my combat pay. She did. And that's not all. She rented a beach house for a weekend, $2,000. Hotel rooms in the city, concert tickets. She's been living very well on your deployment money. I felt sick, but also vindicated. Can we use this? Absolutely. This proves she used marital assets to support her affair. In court, this will look terrible for her. Good. What else can we do? We need to move fast. Her lawyer filed for a quick divorce, probably hoping you won't contest it from overseas. We need to file a response immediately. Contest everything. Request full asset disclosure. Demand a fair division. I don't want fair. I want her to pay. Amanda was quiet for a moment. Mr. Hayes, I understand your anger, but the goal is to protect your interests, not to destroy her. Why not both? Amanda filed our response to the divorce petition. In it, we contested everything. Denied her claims of irreconcilable differences. Accused her of adultery. Demanded full financial disclosure. Requested that all marital assets be frozen until the case was resolved. We also filed a motion for reimbursement for every dollar she'd spent on her affair. Natalie's lawyer responded with outrage, claimed we were being vindictive, that Natalie had every right to spend money from a joint account, that the adultery claims were baseless and cruel, but we had the receipts. Literally, Amanda sent everything to Natalie's lawyer. Credit card statements, bank records, photos, witness statements from people who'd seen Natalie and Kyle together. The evidence was overwhelming. Natalie's lawyer tried to settle, offered to return half the money, let me keep my personal belongings, agreed to a quick, quiet divorce. Amanda called to discuss. They want to settle. They know they're in a bad position. What are they offering? Half the money back. About $23,000. You keep your personal property. No alimony on either side. Quick divorce. No. Tyler, that's not a bad offer. It's not enough. She took everything. Betrayed me. Humiliated me. I want all the money back. Plus interest. Plus reimbursement for her affair spending. Plus my legal fees. That's going to be difficult to get. Then make it difficult. I'm not settling. Amanda sighed. Okay, but this is going to get ugly. Are you prepared for that? I've been living in a combat zone for 3 months. I think I can handle a divorce. All right then, let's go to war. The legal battle intensified. Amanda filed motion after motion. Discovery requests. Depositions. She was relentless. Natalie had to provide every bank statement, every credit card record, every receipt for the past year. The full picture emerged. She hadn't just spent money on Kyle. She'd been planning this for months. Opening new credit cards in her name only. Transferring money from our joint account to her personal accounts. Setting up a separate life. She'd been stealing from me long before she filed for divorce. Amanda presented everything to the judge. Your Honor, Mrs. Hayes didn't just leave her husband. She systematically robbed him while he was serving his country. She emptied their joint account, maxed out their credit cards on her affair, and filed for divorce by email while he was in a combat zone. This is not just a failed marriage. This is financial abuse. Natalie's lawyer argued that the money was legally hers, that joint accounts meant equal access, that her spending habits weren't relevant. The judge disagreed. Mrs. Hayes, while you had legal access to the joint account, the timing and manner of your withdrawals are concerning. Emptying the account while your husband was deployed, unable to respond or protect his interests, shows a pattern of financial misconduct. I'm ordering you to return the full amount to a court-supervised account until we resolve the property division. Natalie had to return $47,000. Every penny. Amanda called me with the news. We won the first round. The money's being returned. I felt a wave of relief. All of it. All of it. Plus, the judge wasn't happy with her. That's good for us moving forward. But the victory was temporary. Natalie filed a counter motion, claimed she needed the money to live, that she quit her nursing job due to emotional distress, that she had no income and no way to support herself. Her lawyer painted her as the victim, the abandoned wife, left alone for months while her husband chose his career over his marriage. They conveniently left out the part about Kyle, about the affair, about her spending my money on another man. The judge ordered a temporary support payment. I had to pay Natalie $2,000 a month until divorce was finalized. This is insane, I told Amanda. I have to pay her to cheat on me? It's temporary, and we'll argue against permanent alimony. But right now, the judge sees a dependent spouse without income. We need to prove she's capable of working. She's a nurse. Of course she can work. Then we need to prove she quit voluntarily, not due to legitimate emotional distress. Casey helped again. She found out Natalie hadn't quit her job. She'd been fired for having an inappropriate relationship with a co-worker. That co-worker was Kyle. He'd been working at the same hospital as a physical therapist. They'd met when I deployed, started the affair at work, got caught by hospital administration. Both were terminated. This is perfect, Amanda said when I told her. This proves she lost her job due to her own misconduct, not emotional distress from the deployment. We can use this. We filed another motion, included the termination records, witness statements from hospital staff, everything. The judge reviewed it and reduced the temporary support to $500 a month, a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. 3 months into my deployment finally ended. I flew back to the States exhausted, angry, and ready to fight. Casey picked me up from the airport. She hugged me tight. Welcome home. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances. Me too. We drove to her house. She'd set up the guest room for me. Photos of her new baby, Emma, covered the walls. Thanks for letting me stay here, I said. You're family. You can stay as long as you need. That night, I met with Amanda in person for the first time. She was younger than I expected, maybe 35. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. Tyler, Good to finally meet you face to face. How are you holding up? I've been better. I can imagine. Let's talk strategy. We have a court date in 2 weeks. The judge will hear both sides and make preliminary decisions on asset division and alimony. What are our chances? Good. Very good, actually. Your wife's behavior has been atrocious. The affair, the financial misconduct, the lies about her job. All of it works in your favor. What about Kyle? Can we go after him too? Amanda shook her head. Alienation of affection isn't recognized in this state. We can't sue him for the affair. But we can make sure everyone knows what he did. How? Social media, public records. Divorce filings are public. Anyone can look them up. If someone were to, say, share those records online, there's nothing stopping them. I understood what she was implying. I'll talk to Casey. Amanda smiled. I didn't hear that. Now let's prepare for court. The next 2 weeks were intense. I met with Amanda almost daily, reviewed documents, practiced testimony, prepared for every possible question. She warned me Natalie's lawyer would try to paint me as an absent husband, someone who chose the military over his marriage, who left his wife alone and isolated. They'll make you the villain, Amanda said. You need to stay calm. Don't get defensive. Just tell the truth. What if I see her? In court, you'll see her. You'll probably see Kyle too, if he's there to support her. You need to show no emotion, no anger, no sadness, just calm, professional demeanor. I don't know if I can do that. You have to. The judge is watching everything. Your behavior, your reactions, everything matters. The day of the hearing arrived. I wore my dress uniform. Amanda's idea. Remind the judge you're a service member, someone who sacrificed for their country while their spouse betrayed them. We arrived at the courthouse early, waited in a conference room. Then I saw her, Natalie, walking down the hallway with her lawyer. She looked different, thinner, hair shorter, older somehow. She saw me and froze. For a moment, our eyes met. I saw guilt there, shame, maybe regret, but also defiance. She looked away first, kept walking. Good, Amanda whispered. You stayed calm. Keep that up. We entered the courtroom. Natalie sat on the opposite side with her lawyer. Kyle wasn't there. Smart of him. The judge entered. A woman in her 60s. Stern expression. She looked at both of us. This is the matter of Hayes versus Hayes. Dissolution of marriage. Let's proceed. Natalie's lawyer went first. Painted a picture of a lonely wife, abandoned by her military husband, left to fend for herself for months at a time, forced to make difficult decisions while he was away. Your Honor, Mrs. Hayes tried to make this marriage work. She supported her husband's career, waited patiently during multiple deployments. But there comes a point where a person can only take so much loneliness, so much isolation. She made the difficult decision to end the marriage so both parties could move on. The lawyer carefully avoided mentioning Kyle, or the affair, or the money. Just focus on making Natalie the victim. Then it was Amanda's turn. She stood, holding a thick folder. Your Honor, this is not a case of a lonely wife making a difficult decision. This is a case of systematic financial abuse and adultery. While Mr. Hayes was deployed, serving his country in a combat zone, Mrs. Hayes emptied their joint account, maxed out their credit cards, and carried on an affair with Mr. Hayes' former best friend. She didn't just end the marriage. She robbed him. Amanda presented the evidence. Bank statements showing the withdrawals. Credit card records showing the affair spending. Photos of Natalie and Kyle together. Employment records showing why she was fired. The judge reviewed everything carefully. Her expression grew harder with each document. Mrs. Hayes, the judge said, is this accurate? Did you empty the joint account while your husband was deployed? Natalie's lawyer started to answer, but the judge cut him off. I asked Mrs. Hayes directly. Natalie stood, her voice shaky. Yes, Your Honor, but I needed that money. I had no income, no support. I was trying to survive. The judge looked at her coldly. You had no income because you were fired for having an inappropriate relationship at work. Correct. Yes, but... And you spent thousands of dollars on expensive dinners, hotels, and gifts. That doesn't sound like someone barely surviving. Natalie's face reddened. Your Honor, I made mistakes. I admit that, but my husband was never home. I was alone. I was depressed. I made bad choices. Bad choices that you funded with your husband's combat pay while he was risking his life overseas. The judge set the papers down. I've seen a lot of divorce cases, but this one particularly disturbs me. Mrs. Hayes, you had every legal right to access that joint account, but you also had a moral obligation to act fairly and responsibly. You did neither. She turned to me. Sergeant Hayes, thank you for your service. I'm sorry you're dealing with this while also serving your country. Thank you, Your Honor. The judge made her preliminary rulings. All marital assets would remain frozen until the final hearing. Natalie would receive no temporary support since she was capable of working. I would keep possession of all personal property, and the court would appoint a forensic accountant to track every dollar Natalie spent from the joint account. We'll reconvene in 60 days for the final hearing, the judge said. At that time, I'll make final determinations on asset division. Mrs. Hayes, I strongly suggest you find employment. You're going to need it. Court adjourned. Amanda squeezed my shoulder. That went very well. I watched Natalie leave the courtroom. She was crying. Her lawyer looked frustrated. Good. Let them feel what I'd felt for the past 3 months. Over the next 60 days, the forensic accountant did their work. They tracked every penny Natalie had spent. The results were even worse than I'd imagined. She'd spent over $60,000 total, not just the $47,000 from our joint account. She'd also maxed out 3 credit cards in both our names. Cards I didn't even know existed. How did she open credit cards without my signature? I asked Amanda. She forged your signature on the applications. That's credit card fraud, a federal crime. Can we press charges? We can report it. Whether prosecutors pursue it is up to them. But yes, I think you should report it. I filed a police report, provided evidence of the forged signatures. The detective assigned to the case was sympathetic. Ma'am committed fraud while you were deployed? That's low. Real low. Can you do anything about it? I'll investigate. If the evidence is solid, we'll forward it to the DA. They'll decide whether to prosecute. Meanwhile, Casey had been busy on social media. She created a post detailing what happened, not mentioning names, but enough details that anyone who knew us would figure it out. Military wife divorces deployed husband by email, empties their bank account, carries on affair with his best friend, uses his combat pay to fund lavish dates, gets fired from her job for the affair, then claims to be the victim. The post went viral, shared thousands of times. Comments poured in. People were outraged, disgusted. They wanted to know who this woman was. Then someone connected the dots, found Natalie's social media, started commenting on her posts, calling her out, shaming her. Her accounts went private, then disappeared entirely. Kyle's life fell apart too. Someone sent the divorce records to his employer. They fired him immediately, posted a statement about maintaining professional standards. His reputation was destroyed. I heard through mutual friends that he'd moved back in with his parents, couldn't find work, was drinking heavily. Part of me felt bad. We'd been best friends for 15 years. But then I remembered the photos. Him with Natalie, kissing her, using my money. The sympathy disappeared. Natalie tried to contact me, left voicemails, sent emails through my sister, all saying the same thing. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Can we talk? Amanda told me not to respond. She's trying to manipulate you, make you feel guilty. Don't fall for it. I didn't. Every message went unanswered. Every call went ignored. She'd made her choice. Now she had to live with it. The final court date arrived. Both sides presented their closing arguments. Natalie's lawyer tried one last time to paint her as the victim, claimed the social media harassment was my fault, that I'd orchestrated a campaign to destroy her. Your Honor, My client has lost everything. Her job, her reputation, her home, all because her husband refused to accept that their marriage was over. Amanda stood immediately. Your Honor, Mrs. Hayes lost everything because of her own actions. She committed adultery. She committed fraud. She systematically stole from her husband while he was in a combat zone. Sergeant Hayes didn't destroy her life. She destroyed her own life. He's simply seeking justice. The judge nodded slowly. I'm ready to make my final rulings. The judge looked at both of us. Marriage is a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. When one party violates that trust as thoroughly as Mrs. Hayes has, there are consequences. She read from her notes. Based on the evidence presented, I find that Mrs. Hayes committed adultery during the marriage. She also engaged in financial misconduct by emptying the joint account and fraudulently opening credit cards in both names. These actions warrant significant consequences in the division of assets. My heart raced. This was it. Therefore, I rule as follows. All marital debts, including the maxed-out credit cards, will be the sole responsibility of Mrs. Hayes. Sergeant Hayes will not be liable for any debts incurred through fraud. Natalie gasped. Her lawyer whispered urgently in her ear. Furthermore, Mrs. Hayes will repay Sergeant Hayes the full amount withdrawn from the joint account. $47,000, plus interest, plus reimbursement for all legal fees incurred in this matter. Your Honor, that's over $70,000. Natalie's lawyer protested. My client doesn't have that kind of money. Then she'll make payments. I'm ordering a wage garnishment of 30% of any future earnings until the debt is paid in full. Natalie started crying. Loud, dramatic sobs. The judge was unmoved. As for other marital assets, Sergeant Hayes will retain full ownership of all personal property. The vehicle will remain in his possession. Mrs. Hayes will have 30 days to vacate any shared residence. Your Honor, where's my client supposed to live? That's not this court's concern. She should have thought about that before committing fraud. The judge wasn't finished. I'm also granting Sergeant Hayes' request for a restraining order. Mrs. Hayes is prohibited from contacting him directly or indirectly. Any violations will result in contempt charges. Finally, I'm forwarding all evidence of credit card fraud to the district attorney's office. Whether criminal charges are filed is up to the prosecution, but this court finds sufficient evidence of fraudulent activity. The gavel came down. This marriage is hereby dissolved. Court is adjourned. I sat there stunned. I'd won. Completely. Totally. Won. Amanda squeezed my hand. Congratulations. That was one of the most thorough victories I've ever seen. Natalie was still crying as her lawyer tried to comfort her. She looked at me with pure hatred in her eyes. I felt nothing. No victory. No satisfaction. Just emptiness. We left the courthouse. Casey was waiting outside with champagne. I figured we'd be celebrating. Not really in a celebrating mood. I admitted. But thank you. We went back to Casey's house. She poured the champagne anyway. To justice, she said. To moving on. We clinked glasses. The champagne tasted bitter. That night, I lay in bed thinking about everything. 5 years of marriage. Gone. My best friend since high school. Gone. $47,000. I'd get it back eventually, but it would take years. Was any of this worth it? Then I remembered the email. The coldness of it. The betrayal. The way she tried to destroy me while I was deployed. Yeah, it was worth it. She tried to break me. Instead, I'd survived, and she'd lost everything. That had to count for something. The next few months were strange. I was legally single. Free. But I didn't feel free. I felt hollow. I started seeing a therapist at the VA. Dealing with everything. The deployment. The divorce. The betrayal. You've been through multiple traumas, my therapist explained. Combat deployment. Marital betrayal. Financial abuse. These things take time to process. How much time? As long as it takes. There's no timeline for healing. I threw myself into work. Re-enlisted for another term. My command was supportive. Offered me assignments stateside. Places where I could rebuild my life. I took a position at a base in North Carolina. Fresh start. New people. Nobody knew my story. Casey sent me updates about Natalie. She'd moved in with her parents. Was working at a retail store. Barely making minimum wage. 30% of which was being garnished for what she owed me. She looks miserable, Casey reported. Lost a ton of weight. Never goes out. Just works and goes home. Good, I said, then felt guilty for saying it. Kyle apparently moved to another state. Tried to restart his life somewhere people didn't know him. I never heard from him directly. Never wanted to. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. Some friendships can't be saved. The money started coming in. Small payments. $50 here. $75 there. At this rate, it would take 10 years to get everything back. But I'd get it. Eventually, the restraining order held. Natalie never tried to contact me. Smart of her. I would have pressed charges immediately. Life moved on. Slowly. Painfully. But it moved. A year after the divorce, I met someone new. Her name was Jordan. She was a teacher on base. Beautiful, kind, patient. We met at a coffee shop. She spilled her latte on my uniform. Apologized profusely. I laughed. It was the first real laugh I'd had in months. We started talking. Kept talking for 3 hours. She asked for my number. I hesitated. I'm kind of a mess right now. I admitted. Aren't we all? She said with a smile. We went on a date. Then another. Then another. I told her about Natalie. About the deployment. The betrayal. Everything. She listened without judgment. That's terrible, she said quietly. I'm sorry you went through that. I'm not sure I'm ready for something serious, I warned. That's okay. We can take it slow. And we did. No rushing. No pressure. Just two people getting to know each other. Learning to trust again. It wasn't perfect. I had trust issues. Got anxious when she didn't text back immediately. Worried when she went out with friends. She was patient with me. Understanding. Slowly, the walls came down. Slowly, I started to believe in relationships again. Not all women were like Natalie. Not all people were like Kyle. Some people actually meant it when they said they'd be there for you. 6 months into our relationship, Jordan asked about the money. Do you ever regret going after her so hard? Fighting for every dollar. I thought about it. Sometimes. But she tried to destroy me. I had to fight back. I get that. I just hope you're not still carrying all that anger around. It'll eat you alive. She was right. I was still angry. Still bitter. Still checking my bank account every month to see the tiny payments from Natalie. Jordan helped me let go. Not forget. But let go. You won, she reminded me. You got justice. Now you have to decide if you want to stay in the past or move forward. I chose to move forward. Stopped checking the garnishment payments. Stopped asking Casey for updates about Natalie. Stopped thinking about Kyle. It wasn't easy. Some days the anger came back. The betrayal felt fresh again. But Jordan was there, reminding me I wasn't that person anymore. I wasn't the broken soldier living in his sister's guest room. I was someone building a new life. Someone who'd survived the worst and come out stronger. We got engaged 1.5 years after meeting. Small ceremony. Just family and close friends. My parents flew in from Ohio. Casey brought Emma, who was now 3. Even Jackson came, my buddy from deployment. I'm proud of you, man, he said at the reception. You could have let that situation destroy you. Instead, you rebuilt. That takes real strength. I had help, I said, looking at Jordan. Yeah, but you did the work. A lot of guys wouldn't have. The wedding was simple. Perfect. Everything my first wedding wasn't. This time, I married someone who actually loved me. Someone who chose me every single day. No lies. No betrayal. Just real, honest love. We bought a small house near the base. Nothing fancy. But it was ours. Built on trust and honesty. Everything a home should be. One evening, about 2 years after the divorce, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Tyler? It's Natalie. My blood ran cold. Jordan looked at me concerned. I put on speaker. You're violating the restraining order. I'm hanging up. Wait, please. I needed to say something. Then I'll never contact you again. I promise. Against my better judgment, I waited. I'm sorry, she said, her voice breaking. I'm so sorry for everything I did to you. You didn't deserve any of it. I was selfish and cruel and stupid. I destroyed the best thing in my life. I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to. I just needed you to know that I'm sorry. Silence. Are you done? I asked coldly. Yes. Good. Don't ever contact me again. I hung up. Jordan squeezed my hand. You okay? Yeah, I actually am. That phone call was the last time I heard from Natalie. The restraining order expired eventually, but she never reached out again. Good. I didn't want to hear from her. Didn't want apologies or explanations. I just wanted to live my life. Jordan and I had our first child 2 years after getting married. A daughter. We named her Hope, because that's what she represented. Hope for the future. Proof that good things could come after bad. Casey came to visit with Emma. The girls played together while we watched. You've come a long way, Casey said. Remember when you showed up at my door looking like a ghost? I remember. Look at you now. Beautiful family. New house. Happy. I am happy, I realized. I really am. The money from Natalie eventually got paid off. Took 8 years total. But every penny came back. Plus interest. Plus legal fees. I used it as a down payment on a bigger house when Hope turned 3. Jordan didn't want to use that money. Said it had bad energy attached to it. But I disagreed. That money represents me fighting for myself. Me refusing to be a victim. I'm proud of where it came from. She understood. We bought the house. Made new memories. Erased the bad energy with good. I heard through the grapevine that Kyle had gotten married. To someone he'd met online. Moved to another state. Started over. I felt nothing when I heard. No anger. No jealousy. Just indifference. He was a stranger now. Someone I used to know. Same with Natalie. Just ghosts from a past life. People who tried to break me but failed. Jackson retired from the military and moved nearby. We stayed close friends. Our families got together for barbecues and holidays. Remember that deployment? He asked one day while grilling. When everything fell apart? Hard to forget. You know what I remember most? How you didn't quit. Guys have killed themselves over less. But you fought. You survived. I had good people around me. You, Casey, Amanda. Yeah, but you did the work. Never forget that. On my daughter's 5th birthday, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just my name and address and handwriting I didn't recognize. Inside was a cashier's check for $5,000. And a note. Tyler, I know this doesn't fix anything. I know it's not nearly enough. But I wanted you to have this. Extra payment toward what I owe you. Not legally owe anymore, since it's paid off, but morally owe for the pain, the betrayal, everything. I hope you're happy. I hope you found someone who deserves you. I hope you can forgive me someday, even though I don't deserve forgiveness. I'm different now. Better, I hope, working on myself every day. But that doesn't erase what I did. I'm sorry for everything. Always. And I showed the letter to Jordan. What are you going to do? She asked. Cash the check. Donate it to a military family support charity. Something good should come from this. And the letter? Burn it. I don't need closure from her. I already have everything I need. We burned the letter that night in our fireplace. Watched it turn to ash. It felt symbolic. The past literally going up in smoke. Hope toddled over and climbed into my lap. Daddy, what are you doing? Just getting rid of old stuff. Sweetheart. Why? Because we don't need it anymore. We have everything we need right here. She hugged me tight. Jordan sat beside us. Our little family. Complete. Perfect. Real. The deployment felt like a lifetime ago. The email. The betrayal. The court battles. All of it was ancient history now. I'd survived. More than survived. I'd rebuilt. Created something better than what I'd lost. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us become the catalyst for the best things. Losing Natalie led me to Jordan. The betrayal taught me to value honesty. The pain made me stronger. Would I go through it all again, knowing what I know now? Absolutely not. But I wouldn't change where I ended up. 10 years after deployment, I was promoted to Master Sergeant. Big ceremony on base. Jordan and Hope were there, along with our son Austin, who was now 2. Casey came with Emma, now 13. My parents flew in. Even Amanda showed up, now a judge herself. "Congratulations, Sergeant Hayes," she said, shaking my hand. "You've come a long way. Thanks to you." "No, you did this. I just helped clear the path." After the ceremony, we had a party at our house. Friends, family, people I loved and trusted, people who'd stood by me through everything. Jackson gave a speech. 10 years ago, Tyler got the worst news possible while deployed. His wife betrayed him. His best friend betrayed him. Everything fell apart. But he didn't fall apart. He fought back, built something better, became someone stronger. That's who we're celebrating today. Not just a promotion, but a man who refused to stay broken. Everyone raised their glasses. I looked around the room at the faces of people I loved. People who loved me back. This was success. Not the money I'd gotten back. Not the divorce I'd won. But this. Real relationships. Real trust. Real love. That night, after everyone left, Jordan and I sat on the back porch. Hope and Austin were asleep inside. "Do you ever think about her?" Jordan asked. "Natalie? Not really. Sometimes when something reminds me, but mostly no." "Do you regret how hard you fought? Taking everything?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. No. She tried to destroy me at my lowest point. I had to fight back. Had to show her that actions have consequences. But I don't live in that anger anymore. It served its purpose. Now it's just history. I'm glad. You deserve peace. I have peace. I have you. I have our kids. I have a career I love. That's more than enough. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I checked it. "I heard about your promotion. Congratulations. You deserved it. Take care of yourself." "Okay, Kyle. After all these years." I showed Jordan. "Are you going to respond?" I deleted the message. Blocked the number. "No. That chapter is closed. I'm not reopening it." She smiled. "Good answer." I put my phone away and pulled her close. Thought about everything I'd been through. The deployment, the betrayal, the fight to rebuild. All of it led me here, to this moment, to this life. Natalie had tried to destroy me by email while I was deployed overseas. She'd emptied our bank account, shattered my trust, nearly broken me. But I'd survived, more than survived. I'd won, not just in court, but in life. I'd found real love, built a real family, created a real future. And that was the best revenge of all. Living well, being happy, moving forward. Some people destroy you and win. Some people destroy you and lose. The difference is whether you let them keep what they took. I didn't. I fought back, took everything, then built something better than what I'd lost. As I sat there with Jordan under the stars, I realized something. I thought life was over when that email came. Thought I'd lost everything that mattered. But I was wrong. I'd only lost things that were never really mine. A wife who didn't love me. A friend who didn't respect me. Money I could earn back. What I gained was worth so much more. Self-respect. Real love. True happiness. And that was priceless. The deployment ended years ago. But my real life was just beginning.